are now listening to the War Report Podcast Network.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the College Loop Pregame Show as we are getting ready for Auburn's first SEC conference game of the Hugh Freeze era. I am your host, Dylan Larck, joined as always by Mr. Harrison Tarr. And Tarr, how you doing, buddy, before we introduce our guests?
I'm doing great, even better now that I would say, guess I kind of feel like we're friends now. We've chatted for like 35 minutes before the show, and I'm cool with that. I'm absolutely here for it. Hunter Mitchell and Cade Harris from the A&M Battalion, right? I'm not mispronouncing that. And host of the Home Turf Podcast. Is that what it says?
Yes.
Sorry, I'm like blind today. But welcome to the show, fellas. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. How y'all doing?
Yeah, thanks for having us. Doing great. I mean, kind of wrapping up the week, getting ready for Saturday.
Trying to beat the heat.
That's right. Yeah, y'all said it was gonna be like 96.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be warm. This is one of the many times I'm grateful that I get to sit in the press box.
And that and like the halftime meal that you get, but
and pregame meal too. Don't forget that.
What's the food look like in the A&M press box?
Last week for ULM it was chopped barbecue sandwiches pregame and then all beef hot dogs for halftime.
Oh, come on now.
You got halftime glizzies out here?
Yeah.
It was kids out here gobbling glizzies at halftime. That's crazy. That's awesome.
Well, nothing else to do when you're playing ULM.
Oh my god! I watched like 3 minutes of that of that game, and I think 2 minutes you were on commercial.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was great, gentlemen. We brought you guys. Glad you guys could join us. Wanted to bring you guys in and talk a little bit about this Auburn A&M matchup in a game that matters a lot to both sides. And Dylan and I have kind of chatted back and forth with our co-hosts that are usually on and hanging out. They're active student journalists, by the way, that are co-hosts with us about the kind of nature of how important this game is on both sides. Just as an overarching question, I'll open this up to either one of you guys or both. Where's the A&M camp? Where's your head at in terms of what does this mean to Aggie fans and to Jimbo Fisher and company in terms of got to get right now when you've already got a blemish in the non-con?
Yeah, I think we kind of broke it down a little bit in on the Home Turf podcast. We were saying that, Miami that week was, obviously not very happy with the result of that. But, I mean, there were some decent things to take from that and, like, obviously areas that they knew, like, that, okay, this is where improvement is needed. But felt like this feels like obviously because just ULM and New Mexico the other 2 weeks. It felt like the first, like, real test that is a game that we, A&M can go in and really show truly where they're at, especially from last year, like really show, okay, like, is this the year that, the blank SEC slate go in and compete off the cuff?
And I think for one, this game is important because of the schedule that lies ahead. I mean, I think it's similar for Auburn because y'all look at LSU, Ole Miss, Georgia. I'm not sure the order, but that's y'all's next 3 games. And then A&M's is Arkansas, Alabama, Tennessee. So you look at that schedule ahead, and you pretty much have to win this game on Saturday.
It kind of goes both ways there. Dylan.
I would rather take y'all's 3 games.
Yeah, I would too. But yeah.
Yeah, in order actually, it's Georgia, then LSU.
You got a bye week for LSU.
Yeah, you get the bye week for LSU, and then
in Baton Rouge.
Yeah. In Baton Rouge. So that'll be a fun one for Auburn. We'll have to see I think this is a good benchmark for both teams, though. And like you guys kind of mentioned, is you find out what you're made of. See, these next 2 weeks, we're going to find out in the SEC who's about it, who's not about it. Or maybe not. I don't know, because no one in this SEC really decided to be good this year. So I'm really not entirely sure. When you look at the offensive side of the ball, let's kind of break this down. We always try to flip, both sides of the ball. For Texas A&M, what does that Auburn defense need to look for from your perspective? What does A&M need to do well to go out and win this game? Right, either one of you guys open conversation.
I mean, knowing that Auburn's secondary is a little beat up, I mean the receivers I think are going to have to show out. And then I think the receivers probably is the main thing. The run game has been average, but so, I mean, that's just mainly what the offense is relying on right now is the receivers. So,
yeah, A&M has honestly, like a pretty, like compared to what it was like at least a couple of years ago, A&M has a hilariously deep wide receiver core now. I mean, Evan Stewart, freshman All-American, was out last game. Just be cautionary. He got a little banged up, and so they just sat him for ULM. And then Noah Thomas got banged up early in the game. Another promising sophomore. And then A&M went out and had the first time since 2018 they had 2 receivers who both caught over 100 yards. And one of them is a transfer from a D2 school, and Jade Walker, and then of course Anai Smith, the other one. So A&M has an absolute plethora of wide receivers, like really good, solid, reliable wide receivers to go to. I mentioned Evan Stewart, Noah Thomas, Jade Walker,
and then Moose Muhammad, who hasn't really gotten in on much of the action so far this season. And I mean, going back to last season, they know what he can do. I mean, Auburn fans might not know what he can do since he didn't take off his sleeves.
but I mean, LSU fans would,
right,
to say the least. So yeah, I think for Auburn, for A&M's offense is that, I mean, it's been for every SEC school, it's been a bit since they've really truly seen like an A&M quarterback that can go out and get the ball to his playmakers consistently and reliably, and especially with how many playmakers he has on the outside. I would say, yeah, that has kind of been the calling card for A&M's offense so far this season. Something I haven't said in a long time is that the passing game looks pretty serious.
Dylan, before you jump in, I'm going to let you talk about the Auburn offense here in a minute and what the A&M defense needs to do. I'm going to pose the same question to these fellows, Dylan, that we talked yesterday on the Thursday installment of the College Loop. It's so weird saying this all when you record the day before. I don't know. It's wild for my brain. But we talked about this last night, Dylan, when we were recording. Gentlemen, Connor Weigman needs to do blank to take down Auburn and have a solid day on Saturday, and that's open, I guess, to wherever your mind may take you there. What in your mind is most important for Connor Weigman to accomplish against this Auburn defense, which I know you also have the secondaries banged up. I'm not defending anything. That's probably still the deepest part of the Auburn defense. Yeah. Like, this is probably the brightest spot still.
I mean, I think the main thing, and it's something I've pointed out a few times on home turf, is he is still. I mean, he's the golden boy at A&M now, because again, it's been forever since he really had a quarterback that you can rest your laurels on. But he still never didn't play a complete season last season. Still pretty early on this season, and it showed against the Miami game because they sent blitz after blitz after blitz, and I don't think he got sacked that game, but you could tell there was often where he would see the blitz, freak out and then throw a quick incomplete pass or or a unwarranted pass deep down the field that would go out of bounds, where if he would have followed the blitz and saw where it was coming from, he would see a check down that would get him 5, 10, even 15 yards, some instances, wide open field. So I think awareness beyond just kind of seeing where the coverages are in terms of safeties, checking where the blitzes are coming from, and finding the open man, and understanding that the blitz is coming from somewhere, someone is going to be open. And I think grain of salt, it's ULM, but I think he did that a lot against ULM. Understood when he needed to run and when he needed to step up in the pocket or roll out and find a receiver downfield. So I think there's a lot of progression there, but I think obviously since Miami, Auburn's defense is the best he's going to have faced. And so I think that's the real important thing.
Sure. Yeah. By the way, Weigman only sacked twice all year to this point.
Yeah.
Just to your point. Hunter, do you want to expand on that? I'm sorry.
No, I was just
sorry.
Oh, no, I was going to say, I think he summed it up perfectly. I mean, what he said is pretty much been the only critique that we could find so far from Weigman.
Sorry, boys, y'all being on the same screens throw me off a little bit on that.
You're good.
Dylan, keys yours.
Yeah, so I'm looking at this Auburn offense, and Auburn found a way to find a passing attack against Sanford. Again, like y'all said with ULM, it's Sanford. It'd be kind of embarrassing if you didn't find one. But Auburn has yet to get a run game going consistently outside of Payton Thorne's legs. So I'm going to need Auburn to run the ball against this A&M defense, who A&M very good at stopping the run this year. Not so much to pass. It's kind of funny. I would ask y'all, how do y'all feel about the fact that y'all's offensive defense just flip-flopped? Like, y'all used to be good at running the ball and not good at passing the ball. Y'all used to be good at stopping the pass and bad at stopping the run.
No, it is pretty comical.
It's just it's honestly just a Texas A&M thing. Like, it seems like you can never have everything working at one time.
Yeah. No, yeah, because defense was truly the calling card last year. And then, yeah, like you mentioned, it's just flip flopped. And a secondary that was honestly kind of, I mean, the defense was heralded in the offseason. That secondary, despite that defensive line loaded with 5 stars, that secondary was pretty well received, and pretty like expected to show out. And there's this, Miami especially, like they've showed like serious weakness there. So again, I think this game will be a real test for them to see where they're at as a unit.
Yeah, I mean, looking at Tyler Van Dyke, 374 yards and 5 touchdowns against that A&M secondary.
Yeah, just picked him apart.
Yeah, and I'm going to need Payton Thorne to do that exact same thing. I'm going to need, like I think I said in the last episode, get 280 yards passing, and that's going to kind of indicate that Auburn's going to be in the way for a win. But if you can get Jarquez Hunter and Damari Alston going, that would help tremendously.
I think, Dylan, one of the more confusing things in Cade Hunter, this is something we're just scratching our heads about this year, is I got kind of blasted on Twitter because I was so high on this running back room and said some shit that I probably shouldn't have said, but it's all right. We live, we learn, we move forward. But we've been super, super high on this running back room, and then in big moments, they've kind of laid eggs and Auburn. And, I mean, a guy I'm super high on, I know everybody around the SEC, if you know one Auburn running back is Jarquez Hunter, a guy that I'm really high on, Damari Alston, guy right behind him. And I've gone as far as to saying I think that there's really not a gap between the two. And I think that Damari's right there on Jarquez's level. I've been blasted. Yes, I'm looking at you, whoever said that in the comments right now, and I'm still fighting you on it because I'm right. But we've yet to see, like, right when you think that running game is on the cusp of doing something special and having a 100-yard rusher that's not a quarterback, they fumble the ball. Or they find ways to get stuff in the backfield, try to bounce more than just try to run behind their lead tackle, go through the wrong gap. A&M is just not going to play favorable to that for Auburn. So I know Dylan wants to see this 100-yard rusher that's not a quarterback. I think that Auburn's a little bit relying on Payton Thorne to play better football than Connor Weigman. And I know that sounds kind of crazy that we're boiling this down to what in my opinion, I'm not no slight on Connor Weigman. This is definitely slight to Payton Thorne, so make sure you understand I'm slandering both ways here. I don't think either of these guys would be like the premier matchup in the SEC. I don't think you would look and be like, oh wow, I get to watch these two play football this weekend. Yeah. But gentlemen, tell me if I'm crazy. Does it boil down to who turns the ball over less and makes fewer mistakes at the quarterback position? I think a lot of it does.
Yeah, so I really think of the quarterback position. I think that I mean, obviously you keep seeing Weigman's passing yards, and that's the thing that stands out. At least a lot of A&M fans, but he's got good wheels too. He's really mobile and really quick, but I think he's been making better decisions passing the ball. He still does tend to occasionally chunk it down there and say, screw it, Evan Stewart's down there somewhere. And occasionally Evan Stewart says, you're right, I'm right here, and he'll snag it. But I do think that's pretty fair. And I think that one thing that A&M fans may shock them and frustrate them a lot is Payton Thorne's legs. I know that's what we talked about on our podcast when we did our power rankings, is that for A&M, I think that you may have to realize that you may see like a 30-yard runs from a scramble out of the pocket, no receivers open, get downfield. And so I think for A&M, it really relies on that linebacker core with Edrin Cooper. You got JD Davis, and that core there that to really play contain. And I think Edrin Cooper he had a really good year 2 years ago. Last year kind of took, everyone kind of took a little bit step down last year. But then, but then this year he has shown really, really good flashes of playing that really downhill, like run stopping linebacker. And so I think that is going to be really key there is which quarterback can make some plays with their legs.
Has Payton Thorne turned the ball over? How many times have he turned it over this season?
Payton Thorne's thrown 3 picks. Okay. Couple of them pretty bad. Yeah, pretty bad picks.
Two forced balls down the field.
Yeah, back to your point of if you think it boils down to like turnovers, I would say that kind of favors the A&M side because
sure, absolutely.
He didn't throw a pick at all last season. He's only thrown 2 picks this year, and both of them came against Miami.
Yeah, and one of them was not his fault. And Nia Smith just completely slipped right before the ball got to him. Yeah.
So, and then the second one was kind of in like a end of the game situation. Like they were already down, and it was like 15 points.
Yeah,
so it was
Just
kind
got trying to make a play.
The game
Exactly.
was over.
Yeah. No, I mean, I would agree with you wholeheartedly. I think that if you're looking at, if it comes down to taking care of the football and not making silly mental mistakes and not turning it over, I think the edge does go to Texas A&M. I say that if nothing else, but because of game experience, because a lot of these guys have played ball together a lot before. Auburn's roster looks nothing like that team you saw play that was 3-6 going into Jordan Hare Stadium last year against A&M. Which, side note, how weird was that being on? Like, what was the perspective from Aggieland during that game? Because in Auburn, it was way different, I imagine, than what you were.
You had a feeling.
It was
like, I don't know about you, but
it was one of the most disgusting games I've ever watched.
Like, beautiful.
When they're hyping it up, they are talking about Cadillac before the game, and they're doing and showing him with the players, and the feeling that A&M had like that entire season, you just had this your stomach twisted in a knot, and you're like, this is gonna be bad. Like, you just knew. It was kind of the same way like in that South Carolina game last year. Like Williams Bryce is going crazy. The announcers are hyping it up. They take the opening kickoff, and you just like, it was just a twisted gut feeling, which lived in so many Aggies' chests last year. And that was kind of my feeling for the game. So, I mean, sucked. It was absolutely just like one of those lay in your couch, stare at your ceiling type games. But like, you kind of had that feeling.
Well, one man's trash is another man's treasure, because that game was the resurrection game for Auburn football in a lot of people's eyes.
I would say rewatching it again, not in that same context, not
Still
a fun game to watch.
No, it was not.
Oh gosh, no.
You wait, Dylan. You've rewatched that game past the opening intro.
Yep.
Why?
It was on Auburn's SEC takeover.
They should have literally it should have just been Cadillac saying, "Now let's go play ball."
That was on Auburn's SEC takeover.
Yeah,
it was a rough year in
it was
athletics.
a rough year.
Tough year. Really
They
tough year.
had to put at least like one football game on there, and that's the only one.
We had the LSU
settle on.
game, which was for cornflakes, but that was
Auburn should have beat LSU too, but some people didn't want to play football in the second half, aka the head coach at the time. But whatever, that's neither here nor there. Didn't score second half points for the first 4 games last year. I think 3 of the first 4 games. Yeah, that was cool.
I don't remember us scoring until we fired him. I don't.
Yeah, I don't either.
The first 6 games of that season are just a blur and just red.
Potato man, gentlemen, thank you guys for breaking down this game and joining us today. We're gonna go through our pick'ems beyond. Dylan, you good to keep rolling here?
Yeah, you gonna give our predictions for the game?
Yeah, that's where I was going.
Oh, okay.
I was going to ask if the brilliant young student journalistic minds at Texas A&M University wanted to lead us off with their game predictions. Auburn at Texas A&M, 11 a.m. kickoff. Is this game on ESPN?
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's on the main channel.
Yeah.
ESPN. Oh, the whole world gets treated to watching this one.
Yeah,
11 a.m.
8 prime time slot.
Yeah. give us your picks and throw in a score for us.
You can go first, kid.
Yeah, I said it yesterday on our podcast. I think it's going to be 38-24 A&M.
38-24.
I said almost the exact same thing, except I said 38-23.
38-23 A&M. Okay. Dylan, and you want to round it out, or do you want me to round it out?
Oh, I can round it out.
Okay. I'm going to go off vibes because I've kind of gone back and forth on this. If I pick Auburn, our entire podcast is going to pick Auburn. I'm just letting you know. Yeah, that being said, I don't want to curse it like that. 32, something ugly. 32-25 Tigers. So I just screwed Auburn, by the way.
So in 2013.
Oh, good God.
I was a year off of my Auburn Tigers going 3-9, 0-8 in
the orange and blue glasses.
2013 came around. Auburn was winning a little bit. Walked into College Station. Sammy Coates threw a defender on the ground, made him look like a little boy. Trey Mason crawled his way to a touchdown. And then at the end of the game, D. Ford chased down Johnny Manziel, brought him to the ground. Rod Bramlett calls Auburn to announce to the entire college football world that they are back. I think Auburn's going to walk in the Kyle Field and win an ugly, ugly, ugly game.
3-2, please.
Give me.
I'm begging you.
I'm gonna say 23-17.
Oh, that's not that ugly.
It's pretty ugly.
I wanted 4-3. I was gonna be like, yes.
Alex McPherson's getting 9 points this game.
we talked about Alex McPherson.
We did talk about Alex McPherson.
He's kicking 3 field goals.
Fantastic kicker.
I think you forgot to mention a no-call horse collar and all of that, but that's besides the fact.
Hey, once you get thrown to the ground by a future Auburn policeman, I love sending coach. He's awesome.
You just lost a future Auburn cop, and he has a wine tasting group in Auburn.
He's now wide receivers coach somewhere too.
And whatever.
Dude's resume is filled up.
Will say though, despite being 11 a.m. kickoff, senior ticket pool, which is usually like you're always getting first, second deck. A lot of seniors are getting third deck, which means
place is going to be packed.
It's going to be a big one.
Wait a minute. You're telling me your students don't have like an assigned student section, like lower level, like by the field?
So it's first come, first serve. So seniors, you will usually always get first deck. But if you're kind of one of the later ones, you'll get second deck. And then usually, so the breakdown is usually.
It is an assigned seating section.
Yeah, it's assigned student section.
The student section is all right behind. So it'll be right behind the visitors bench. That's all the student section.
Oh, like the whole.
Yeah, the whole thing.
Okay. I was about to be really upset for you.
And then
I was about to be very upset for you.
Most games like this one, they'll put them up kind of in the end zones too, because there's too many.
Yeah. So it may be 11 a.m., but I kind of feel I think it's gonna be pretty loud too.
Oh yeah.
Is what else?
It'll be very quiet by the fourth quarter.
Yeah, Dylan thinks so. It won't be that game. I'm praying for, dude. I'm telling you, give me a 5-4 game. Let's do it.
I'm like, I that's one thing I'll say. Like Auburn, man, it's always close game. And truthfully, like I know we had like 2-score games in both ours, but I would not be surprised of like a one possession, like maybe like a field goal. Like that would surprise me. None, truthfully.
None. No, yeah. The game is actually decided because one team misses a point after, fumbles a snap, and then they run it back for the 2-point touchdown the other way, and that's how you lose the game. That feels on the table. The Auburn A&M football rivalry has been strange. It's like take any logic you have, like a normal football game, which by the way Auburn's not capable of playing. And you just throw it out the window, and it's like you're playing your friends in Madden, and there's no rhyme or reason, and you're going for it under every circumstance that you shouldn't. It's pretty much like that.
Oh yeah,
and I will say that whole like horse collar thing.
Here we go.
Cameron Artis-Payne didn't fumble in the 2015 one either. So
you will never I will never forget that game after coming off of ULM, barely beating ULM.
Y'all shouldn't have to do that. Y'all shouldn't have to rely on that to beating a Kyle Allen team.
No, we shouldn't have. But
did everybody here except for me grow up a fan of the school they wound up going to school at?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I've been watching A&M since I was cognitive.
Yeah.
04.
I was in 5th grade when Johnny Manziel was a freshman.
Yeah. I remember falling to my knees when he won the Heisman.
I did the same thing when Cam Newton won the Heisman. Don't worry.
I don't like to tell people in Auburn who I was cheering for in the 2010 national championship because I really liked cool jerseys and Nike. So
chill out or I'll mute you.
I'm glad that Auburn won. In retrospect, I'm very happy. Hindsight's 2020. Which side note, the boys are going to have to bear with me for a second. Dylan, did you see that there's like a bunch of Oregon banner trying to say that Oregon's superior in football as a football program to Auburn? They've reignited that flame today, and I'm
it's
like,
awesome
I don't know if you remember.
It's just the same championship they have.
I'm sorry, that came back up, and then it like resurfaced today, like on a larger scale than usual. When like Oregon gets a little more moxie than they should have. Like
it's gonna be really funny when Bo Nix wins a Heisman, and they're gonna be just as angry whenever we claim his Heisman as much as they claim his. It's gonna be crazy.
The banner.
He's our Jalen Hurts. We can claim Bama can claim Jalen Hurts. That's how that works.
All right, Dylan. Before we roll into the pick'ems, you want to maybe throw something up on the screen for me real quick?
Oh yeah.
For those of you watching back home, if you guys are enjoying the show, if you guys are feeling loopy and you need a new shirt for game day, you can go to www.thewarreport.com, grab one of 5 colorways of the College Loop War Report Podcast Network co-branded Feeling Loopy t-shirt. Those are only $25. Once again, most comfortable shirt you'll ever own. Dylan says so. Everyone I've ever spoken to that owns one says so. Can't recommend it enough, and we certainly appreciate the support. That's www.thewarreport.com, or if you don't feel like typing that in, you can go to the description and wherever you are listening to this show, most likely on YouTube, like most of you usually do. And if you're here, also like, subscribe, and ring the bell. I will continue to starve our intern until you guys get us to 600 subs. So
He's currently in Tarr's basement,
Yep.
begging for scraps.
that's right. So sorry, gentlemen, had to break that one up there for a minute. You guys like the shirts? Y'all rocking with the shirts?
Oh yeah, those
That's
are
good
nice.
fabric.
We got to get some shirts.
Yeah, I'm game.
Yeah, you could. Sure. I know some guys that I know a place you can order them. So I can hook you guys up. That's right. All right. Let's get to our pick'ems. Dylan, the keys are yours for pretty much the remainder of this. I'm just gonna pick off mostly vibes, to be completely honest with you.
All right. Well,
I've
here at
watched
the
all
college,
these games all year. I like picking off vibes. I don't know.
all right. Well, here at the College Loop, we like to keep you inside the loop of Auburn athletics, but for these pregame picks, we like to go a little bit outside of the loop. All right, looking at the picks, Tarr, me and you are now tied at 17-3 on the year after I had a really good week last week.
17 and what?
17-3.
What?
I
There's
did-
no way we've done that well.
That's
I did the math wrong, maybe.
impressive.
Maybe
Dude, I wasn't bowl
Let me-
eligible after week one.
let me go through again. Maybe I counted wrong. Maybe I did have the best.
I'm
math.
not worried about it. 17-3 works great for me.
Well, we're 17-3 until someone corrects us. Well,
Well, we're gonna have one person correct this, right? Someone in the
Yeah,
comments is gonna. Have
that means that's 3 free views. That's all I care about. So yeah, at current moment, Johnny Deppen, the UMass student journalist, currently lead with 7-3, and John Conley is tied for second twice with his 6-4 back-to-back weeks here on the College Loop, and hopefully, I guess we'll have. Are you gonna? I don't know how y'all are good with picks. How good are y'all typically in your pick'ems?
I went 7-3 last week. I did like a top 10 games of the week, and I went 7-3. So I don't know.
Yeah,
Could be a one-off.
I mean, the 2 of the games we have on here, I wrote about, so I'm hoping I'm not wrong. I'll stick with my guns, and we'll see.
All right, let's do it.
Just get right to it. Starting off hot and heavy with the ACC matchup. Number 4, Florida State travels to Clemson, South Carolina, home of a weird rock that they touch. Florida State is currently a 2-point favorite for an 11 a.m. kick on ABC. So whoever wants it first.
Yeah, I like Florida State in that one.
Yeah, I think Florida State it looks too dynamic this year. I know they had just coming off Boston College. It's kind of a weird one, but I think Florida State looks too good after what they did to LSU week 1. I think they're for real.
CLE. I'm just kidding. At Florida State, please.
Yeah, I'm glad you finally got off.
I've let Clemson burn me too much this year already.
Yeah, I'm also going to be rocking with Florida State here. They are my playoff pick, my ACC champion pick as well. To Tarr's discredit, he hated it so much that he decided to rock with Dabo Sweeney and his inability to recruit inside the
Give me the
portal.
Duke Blue Devils to win the ACC. Damn it, I could live with that.
I'm all for it, but I want to be right. So I'm going to be rocking with Florida State.
We are too with Mike Elko there. Yeah.
Dog.
Go Blue Devils.
I bet y'all miss him so much.
Oh, every day.
Y'all had a head coach in waiting, and then Duke just picked him right up. Now they're in school. All right, up next we have probably one of the most hyped up games of the week. We got number 19 Colorado as they travel to Eugene, Oregon to take on the bodacious Bo Nix led number 10 in the country Oregon Ducks. Oregon is a 21-point favorite.
Yeah, I think I got Oregon here. I mean, there's so many factors that go into this. For one, Oregon comes in with a top 20 passing defense, and that's easily the best that Colorado faced all year. Travis Hunter out with a, first off, lacerated liver. That is rough.
He's only about for 3
Really
weeks
bad.
too. Like how?
Yeah, that is rough. But and then going into Austin, that's one of probably the toughest places to play in the entire country. I think that I think that Oregon wins. I don't know if it'll be spread. I don't know. 21 seems pretty drastic, but I think they'll win safely.
Yeah, agreed. Oregon.
Go Ducks.
Yeah, I'm also going to be rocking Oregon here. I'm also going to be rocking Oregon to cover that game.
I'm kind of with you, actually. Guys, Colorado's not good. I mean, like, it's fun, and I did order the Deion Sanders Prime sunglasses. I did.
Yeah,
And I'm not lying. I did.
I didn't know wins against TCU and Nebraska make you like God.
Yeah.
I think they're better than we thought they were going to be. But we thought they were going to win 3 games.
They just had such a crappy season last year.
Yeah.
I mean, you can only go up from rock bottom. So
I do think Deion will turn them around quickly. I really do. And I don't want people to think that I'm hating on Deion. I'm a Deion enjoyer, for sure. But folks, let's knock it down a little bit. They're not contenders in the Pac-12. They're very much pretenders, even in the non-con slate. So let's be real for a minute. Oregon, I like Oregon to cover. I'm with you, Dylan.
Yeah, I'm completely on the Bo Nix train.
That's really not why I wanted to pick that, but yeah.
Well, as I said, he's our Jalen Hurts, so we got to root for him to play well. So
Jesus Christmas, move forward.
Well, next we got another Pac-12 matchup as number 22 UCLA Bruins travel to Salt Lake City, Utah to take on the number 11 Utah Utes. Utah's currently somehow a 6-point favorite without Cam Rising after playing very too close to Weber State last week.
Yeah, I'm going with UCLA. I don't. Number 11 it's a bit of a stretch for me for Utah right now, and I don't think they'll win without Cam Rising.
Yeah, I'm in that same boat. I mean, I think Utah is simply number 11 because of where they were week 1 and they've just won. So I mean, I mean, without Cam Rising, that offense kind of looks dead in the water. UCLA still kind of has a lot to prove about themselves, but I think that this I think speaks more about Utah than probably UCLA. So yeah, I go with the Bruins.
I'm taking UCLA as well. On the principle that I just think it would be very funny if Chip Kelly wound up in a very meaningful game with Oregon at the end later this year, and I in my head that'd be hilarious. So I'm rooting for that to happen.
Yeah, I'm a big Utah guy. They're my favorite Pac-12 school. But I just don't think
that soon, brother.
Yeah, all my favorite other conference teams are going into the Big 12. UCLA, Cincinnati is now in the Big 12. Kansas was my favorite Big 12 team, but
UCLA is going to the Big 10. So
and the Big 10. My Big 10 team is
go.
Penn State. So yeah, I'm gonna be rocking UCLA here. And then we got a nice little fun SEC matchup as the number 15 Ole Miss Rebels traveled to Bryant-Denny Stadium, the nicest building in all of Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
I'm interested to see the opinions on this one. I really am. Go ahead, fellas.
To take on number 13 Alabama. Bama is a 6.5-point favorite,
which to me is a big surprise. I know it's in Tuscaloosa and I know it's Alabama, but I mean the quarterbacks are just complete difference right now, and I think Ole Miss is going to win.
Yeah, I think Ole Miss wins and covers. I think this is easily by far maybe the worst quarterback situation that Nick Saban has found himself in. You look at all 3 of the options, and I don't think any of them are the solution right now. I didn't think A&M almost beat Jalen Milroe in Tuscaloosa last year, in that 5-7 season. It was down to literally the last play in the fourth quarter. So, yeah, I think Ole Miss goes in, and I think they go into Tuscaloosa, win, and cover.
That's a good opinion, for both of you guys. Y'all are both very intelligent, young, emerging journalists, but not so fast, my friend. I'm telling you, folks.
You gotta get the pencil.
Yeah, I don't know where my pen went, so I just got to bear with me. First off, Jalen Milroe just kind of feels like Blake Sims 2.0. Just saying, in my book, and maybe that's just off vibes. It's place similarities for sure. Blake Sims was a better passer, but anyways. I would not want to play Alabama ever, realistically. I specifically would not want to play them on the Jalen Milroe revenge game. I don't think he's good. I don't think he's an S-tier quarterback.
Yeah.
He's not a guy that I think is the answer long term. But I do think that this is going to be a different team after what we just watched them do in Tampa last week. And Nick Saban, he doesn't lose at home often. He doesn't lose at home twice in the season. Alabama's a tough place to play. I don't think Alabama covers. Also, I will say this, not to dog on you. I think, Hunter, you said it right.
Yeah.
The reverse cover for Ole Miss is crazy. That's crazy. I don't think I can get behind that one. I can go with a 3-point game either way, but I've got Alabama close.
Yeah, I've been looking at this game. I've had to call many of friends to ask what they thought about this game to help me kind of figure out where I'm going to stand. Tar, I did the math as well. We're actually 17-13. I forgot to carry the 1.
I was about to say that's way different.
Way different. Way different. But Tar, I'm at the stick with you there. I hate picking Alabama in any context. I hate the fact that they're going to walk back to the Bryant-Denny Stadium, take down Lane Kiffin yet again. But it's bittersweet because I also don't like Ole Miss.
Yeah, no, I don't feel joy in picking Ole Miss. Like, don't get me wrong. Like I'm not hotty toddy by any stretch of the imagination. But I mean, I feel like I feel like that quarterback situation, the offense with Ole Miss with Judkins and Trey Harris and Dart, I feel like does a lot more for me than what we've seen from Bama so far. But again, I wouldn't be surprised if in Tuscaloosa Bama goes outright and wins that as well. Like I don't think it's a gimme to Ole Miss at all, but I think Ole Miss gets it done.
Yeah, I mean, if Lane Kiffin worked at a Krispy Kreme in Tuscaloosa, his job would be to glaze the donuts.
Oh man,
that's all he does with Nick Saban.
I've never seen a bigger Alabama fan than a head coach.
Than Ole Miss's head coach.
You know what's funny is I was going to kind of build off that, guys. And by the way, you making the donut joke is crazy. That was crazy.
I'm taking
that. Lane's got a couple extra quarterbacks. Maybe if Nick asks nicely enough, he can have like Spencer Sanders.
Yeah, seriously.
Lane might pay him to take him. That's just how much he loves Nick Saban.
He probably give him Dart too if he asked nicely.
Yeah, yeah, you can have Jackson.
We'll take Milroe and Buckner, and we'll
three-way
trade.
All I need in exchange is I just need your 3 shitty quarterbacks and the first opportunity to interview for the Bama job as soon as you can.
Which could be sooner than we expect.
Yeah,
Fingers crossed.
Is that wishful Auburn?
Maybe
that's Dylan wearing his literal orange and blue glasses.
They're not on. I'm thinking straight.
He might be drunk right now. That's possible.
That mansion in Florida is. That mansion in Florida talks.
Dylan, you teach the high schooler futures of tomorrow right now. You teach right now. You can't be drunk on the job.
I teach them how to work in media, and I'm doing exactly that by pushing agendas.
By drinking and then talking about Alabama football.
I have not drank a single drip. Just kick Nick Saban out. He has a nice house, and Terry wants to have a nice family meal with him for once when he's out of practice. One day,
boys, y'all have to let me and Dylan sit down and explain to you guys how we actually think that Miss Terry is the actual reason Alabama is as successul as they are. We have good backing too. There's good.
Gosh. Now to our first game without a single with a ranked team. We got the BYU Cougars traveling to Lawrence, Kansas to take on the Kansas Jayhawks. Both teams are 3-0 going into this match. Kansas is a 9-point favorite, and BYU is fresh off of an Arkansas win.
Oh, man.
To be honest, I didn't even know they were playing this week till y'all showed me before. But I think Kansas would win this one.
You know, I feel like it's kind of the Vanderbilt syndrome where like a football team is so bad for so long, you love when you see them do good. And, I mean, I was the same way. I picked Kansas against Arkansas in our bowl matchup, last season. And BYU looked pretty solid against Arkansas. But you know what? Rock chalk, Jayhawk. I'll go with Kansas too.
Rock chalk.
Jalen Dan, I think he's a serious good quarterback. I got on my fantasy league. On my bench
chain. The chain that plays highlights of himself. That's crazy.
That is he. And to Kansas's credit, I mean they've done a pretty good job filling up that stadium they have there. Compared to especially how it used to be where they're letting in people for free so they can maybe beat Oklahoma. Like it looked pretty good, and so credit's due over there in Kansas. So I think they'll get it done.
Are they in? Am I making that up? Is that Manhattan, Kansas? Am I making that up?
That's Kansas State.
Lawrence, Kansas.
It's Kansas. It's
really matter. I was just trying to be kind. I'm trying to be nice here.
Yeah.
What else we got?
Chalk. I was just officially saying, Kansas is going to win this game. BYU may have just looked very good against a very bad Arkansas team.
Arkansas reeks, by the way, boys. They're not good.
We have. I think we had Arkansas in our power ranking. I think 6th in the West. I think Mississippi State's the only one that we.
Hey, congratulations! Either one of us finished 6th or 7th in the West this year.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Let's go us.
Mississippi State, though, y'all, if you could finish 8th in the West in this year, they'd find a way. They were really bad.
Yeah, no, that's what happens when you take an air raid quarterback and put him in a pro style offense.
I can't wait to watch the Mississippi State Arkansas game. It's going to be bad.
That's
your 3-2 game right there. That's your 3-2 game.
And somehow it's still going to be at 6 p.m. Watch.
Brian.
Well,
yeah,
BYU Kansas is at 2:30 on ESPN.
Wow.
Oh.
We got 11. They do want to kind of battle out with Fox Big Noon Kickoff, and that they have to go against who's playing Big Noon
The
Kickoff.
2:30 slate is pretty good this week, I think, too.
It's not even Colorado, Oregon. That's at 11. What's the Fox slate? Is it Oregon? Is it Ohio State? No. Who is playing at
Whatever
11
Gus
o'clock?
Johnson's calling.
Is it not Oregon State, Washington State at 2:30?
They play at 6 as
Play at
well.
6.
Who's playing at 11 on Fox? Who are they trying to battle out with?
They gave up.
This is wild. But, at 5:30 on the CW network, you're going to be able to watch Georgia Tech at Wake Forest. Wake is currently a 3.5-point favorite for Winston-Salem, North Carolina. So if you love the Flash TV show and Arrow, keep it on the same channel because you can watch the Yakets versus the Demon Deeks.
Oh man, can't pick against Haynes.
Go
King.
Haynes King.
Yeah. Hey, together we swarm. I think I'll take Yellow Jackets here solely for the fact that they took like everyone that we had transferred out went to Georgia Tech, like Chase Lane, Haynes King,
Andre White.
Yeah, I think I'll go Georgia Tech.
We got 2 Georgia Techs already. Holy shit, this is the greatest pick 'em of my entire life. Other people are taking Georgia Tech with me. And it's not just because they feel bad that I suffered. Like until I was 16, I was a Georgia Tech fan. Like it was bad. It was a long time.
That's respect.
I feel so appreciated. These guys are welcome back on the show anytime, if nothing else, but because of this. So yeah, I'm a rambling wreck from Georgia Tech and a hell of an engineer. Let's go Haynes, baby. The king that was promised.
Not so fast, my friend, because this game might be getting jinxed because I'm also rocking with the Georgia Tech.
Holy
Yellow
shit.
Jackets for this game.
A 4-0.
This is the greatest moment of my life.
Never thought you'd see the day.
Hey, I wanted to pick them last week.
Yeah, but that's because they were playing Ole Miss and because you were Okay.
I was a game behind.
It's called blind hatred.
Hey, that got me 2 out of 3 wins in week 3.
And the way you talk about Ole Miss would get you canceled in some states.
All right, back to the SEC. We got the Arkansas Razorbacks traveling to Baton Rouge, Louisiana, to take on y'all's top 2 rivals. LSU is currently a 17.5-point favorite against a very bad Arkansas team.
Yeah.
Do we have to ask?
Arkansas doesn't stand a chance. My grandfather's an Arkansas fan, so sorry to him. But
yeah, this would be bad. They may have to get in some kind of secret service or CIA SWAT to come in and separate this game because they're going to do nigh illegal things to Arkansas. I think it's going to be really bad. I think maybe one of the only reasons that the Mississippi State game wasn't as bad is because they took the pedal off the metal a little bit. But I think in Baton Rouge, I think it's going to be tough. I think it's going to be real bad.
Go ahead, Dylan. I'm with these guys. I'm still recovering from that. That was freaking awesome.
Give me LSU here to double that cover. So yeah, I'm gonna give me that 30. Give me that 35.
Christ, 35.
Give me that 35-point win. Arkansas is not good this year.
No.
Jesus.
No.
LSU gonna cover that bad boy up.
This one got off the rails quick. Continue.
All right, heading back to the Pac-12 and the Pac-12 of next year as well as the number 14 Oregon State Beavers and DJ Uiagalelei.
The 2 o'clock game. Yes.
Take on Cam Ward and the number 21 Washington State Cougars. So we got the Cougars versus the Beavers in this one. Who y'all got?
I got Washington State being at home, and then they have some yeah, it's Wisconsin and Colorado State, but that Colorado State team took Colorado to overtime last week, and they look a little impressive to me so far this year.
I think it's our first split as I'm going with the Beavs. This again, maybe like talked about like Kansas, where it's just the school that's been so bad at football for so long, you just want them to be good. But I think DJ Uiagalelei. I mean, they haven't really played anyone that crazy to start this season.
Nailed that name, by the way. Nailed that name.
Yeah, no, I practiced. And when you have Tua Tagovailoa in your conference decimating you for a couple of years, you get pretty good at those names.
Tagovailoa is a little easier to say than Uiagalelei.
Yeah.
Uiagalelei.
That's one. Yeah, that's a announcer's nightmare when he gets that roster card.
Really bad.
But yeah, I think that offensive line for Oregon State has looked like kind of ridiculous. I think it's may end up being one of the best offensive lines come the end of the year. Of course, you got to see them play some actual competition, but I think they will. I think it will be super close. I think that spread's pretty accurate. But I'm going with the Beavs.
Going with the Beavs. That's a tough look. I'm sorry. That's not all of us can know ball. But Cade, you took okay, good. Cade knows ball, and I love Cougars. Give me Washington State.
Not so fast, my friend. What if I told you that you got very upset with me whenever I told you that I think DJ Uiagalelei is going to step into Oregon State?
I would return that sentence by saying nobody laughed at my joke saying I love Cougars and I'm upset. But
I didn't hear that.
Well, here's not a joke, my friend. Oregon State is a contender in the Pac-12, and it started off by beating Washington State
decisive
in Pullman, Washington.
Okay,
good decision.
And now for another game with some maybe not some national championship implications. We have the number 6 Ohio State Buckeyes traveling to
this is a playoff game. This is a playoff game.
Ohio State's looking a little sus.
This is a regular season playoff game. Like loser is out.
Oh yeah, but probably. one of them has more leeway than the other.
I'm about to say loser is out unless you're Ohio State.
Yeah, that's
if I say Ohio State's a 3-point favorite in South Bend for the number 9 Notre Dame Fighting Irish under Sam Hartman.
Yeah, I actually think Notre Dame's going to win this one. Ohio State's looked a little shaky under Kyle McCord. That game against Indiana was something. But yeah, I think Notre Dame's going to defend home turf and they'll win.
I think Notre Dame wins easily. I think one consistent theme so far with Ohio State this year, even though they have blowouts, has been there's been some point you click on the game and you're like, are they really is this the score right now? Like, what is happening? Yeah. And Notre Dame's got the number 16th ranked total offense. They've got the number 1 rusher in the country who leads the 2 spot by over 100 yards. You got Sam Hartman at quarterback. And then I think Notre Dame is they're definitely like top 15, top 20 in passing defense as well. I think that Ohio State, if they get off to a slow start on the road in South Bend, I think it's going to spell disaster. And I think Notre Dame's going to jump on it off the cuff because Notre Dame had played Ohio State 5 times and has not beat them.
I would say that having a good pass defense statistically helps whenever your first game of the season went against Navy.
Hey, Navy tried. They're trying to move on, but
Navy was
gonna have to wean out a little bit. It's gonna be a couple years.
They had a nice little family vacay to Dublin, Ireland.
Right.
But I think Notre Dame. I think Notre Dame wins pretty convincingly.
So Hunter has decided he does know ball after all, and that's a good take. Notre Dame by. I'm gonna get weird. Notre Dame by 14.
Yeah, I can see a double-digit win for Notre Dame here.
I think they're real this year. I really do. I think, and I love what Marcus Freeman's got going on. It's like Dylan mentioned earlier. I thought I hated Notre Dame, and then I realized I just hated Brian Kelly. And then Marcus Freeman came in, and I was like, oh my gosh, this guy is so fun to root for. He clearly loves his dudes. There's a lot. Honestly, there's a lot of parallels in his coaching style to that of Cadillac. And I think that may have been what it was like. Oh my god, I love this dude. Yeah, it's fun that Notre Dame's good. It's suddenly I enjoy it and don't hate it now that Brian Kelly's not there. So,
yeah, I think it's about time we also start chugging along to the Sam Hartman Heisman hype train. as he has his very convincing win over the Ohio State Buckeyes.
And the greatest play call on the sideline I've ever seen. That dude's got a.
I think, and the only reason Sam Hartman is not my starting quarterback in fantasy is because Michael Penix is my starting quarterback. So
can't go wrong with either one.
No, 1 week I subbed him out, I regret it. So it's a serious quarterback, serious offense. I think he's got a really good balanced attack, and I really think they'll catch Ohio State sleeping.
I completely agree. Now for the last game, has some college football playoff implications for me, as the number 24 Iowa Hawkeyes somehow ranked and somehow put up over 23 points against Western Michigan last week.
They scored touchdowns.
Yeah, they
wild.
They have to average 23 points to not have Kirk fire his son.
Just saying. There's a direct correlation to the amount of points scored before and after. Like there's a staunch difference between before Cade McNamara said that these guys were going to come a lot, and after. And he meant the defensive pressure, folks. That's what I was saying. Don't get me twisted.
Well, they have to walk into with that lackluster offense into Beaver Stadium in a whiteout environment for the number 7 ranked, my national championship pick.
Can you believe this guy?
Actually,
wow.
Yeah, Hunter's right.
Nittany Lions.
That is wow.
Horrible. You can say horrid.
I'm not trying to have a cold take.
I went against the grain. Tarr picked all the favorites of every conference. I went against the grain, and mine looks like it's a better pick right now than his. Just saying.
I took Georgia to win the Natty. What are you talking about?
You had Clemson. I
had Clemson in, but I had Georgia to win the Natty. No one looked and said that's stupid. No one looked and said that's unbelievable.
Because you picked the favorites.
Because they're better. Continue. Sorry.
Oh yeah. No, I got Pence. I feel like it's going to be a whiteout for the first 2 quarters, and by halftime it's going to be whiteout in bleachers because I think it's going to be over by half.
Yeah, Penn State's going to blow them out. 15's the spread. Wow.
Yeah, sorry. Dylan forgot to move it over because he was too busy getting offended by the fact that Penn State's not going to the college football playoff and they're not winning the Natty.
Neither's Clemson, sir.
But you know what they are? You know what's unfortunate? Yeah, you're so right. You're so right.
Mine's not been proven wrong yet. Yours has.
And yours will be proven wrong another week because they're beating the shit out of Iowa this week.
Yeah, Kirk, go ahead and kick your son out of Iowa because y'all are not putting up more than usually 17 ever, but you're not going to put up very many points against Pitt.
Yeah, no. Sorry, the Children's Hospital back home in Iowa, but this is one you may not want to put on TV. This one may get bad. This one
just wave to your TV and then turn it off.
Yeah, this one may get this one may be pretty bad. To draw the whiteout too. Yeah, that's tough. That's tough.
That is.
What do you say about that?
Yeah,
that's our slate, right, Dylan?
That's all of them.
All right. Well, that
we want to pick a random game out there in the schedule and just.
I'm good on that front. Thank you, though.
Random start of the day.
I already said the Cade McNamara quote. We got to get me off the air. It's time to move forward. Cade, Hunter, thank you guys so much for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
Really have enjoyed this. This has been a blast, guys. Let's make it happen during basketball season. I'm so serious.
100%.
Let's absolutely do it. You guys are friends of the program. If there's ever anything dumb in Auburn Twitter lore or in Auburn lore that you guys see and you want to come talk about it, know that you've got a space you can do it. Or if you guys want to come talk ball, it's always a pleasure to have you guys. Tell everybody where they can find your work, where they can find you on socials, and where they can give you guys love and support across whatever platforms that may work for you guys.
Yeah, you can find both our works at the Battalion. That's A&M student newspaper. Again, we're also co-hosts of the Home Turf podcast. That's our sports desk podcast. And for me personally, you can find me on Twitter. It's Hunter M1001.
My Twitter is Cade Harris _.
Awesome. Easy enough. Easy to find. I'm at by Harrison Tarr on the Bird app. I'm at by Harrison Tarr on Threads if you want to come hang out there as well. That's such a dumb app, and I'm definitely about to get off of that. You're so right, Dylan. I'm so sorry.
That's crazy. That's wild.
Such a bad app. Such a bad app.
On it.
I had to see what it's about, man. You know what I'm saying? Like
he promotes it every
I haven't been on it since the day I downloaded it.
I
didn't download it.
It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. I forget to check it just as much as everybody else does, so it's okay. Two ways that you guys that are watching at home can support the show. Number one is to like, subscribe, and ring the bell right here on YouTube. If you're not watching on YouTube, whatever streaming platform you're using on, please 5 stars, follow the show, and make sure to recommend to all your friends. Number two, as Colin, our intern, would say, but you killed him because you guys won't subscribe. Buy the damn shirt. He says it every single show. I'm not kidding, guys. He goes, buy the damn shirt at www.thewarreport.com. $25. You can pick the colorway that fits you the best. All that being said, I'm going to hand it over to Dylan Larck, and let's get out of here, my man.
Yeah, make sure you load that chat with hashtag Feeling Loopy. We want to use that hashtag more often. If you buy a shirt, use that hashtag. We'll find you. We'll put you on the show. Just to show everybody that you got a nice, comfortable, Feeling Loopy shirt that everyone can agree is the best shirt you're ever going to buy. But yeah, I'm Dylan Larck at your boy Tank on Twitter/X. It redirects at YABOI. The Tank is just right there. Also got me on Instagram at Dylan Larck at DYLANLARCK. And of course, you want to follow us here on the College Loop. You can subscribe, like, comment, tell us what your score prediction is for the game, what you want to see from Payton Thorne, what do you want to see from Jarquez Hunter.
Tell us who knows more ball, the guys from the Battalion or us. There's a right answer here. It's not correct.
Of course, and if you're tired of seeing our faces, I completely understand. Look at Tar. I would hate looking at that every time you turned on YouTube anyways. Yeah. So go to the audio version. You got Spotify, Podcast, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music. And of course, with all of that being said, this has been the College Loop pregame show.